23rd Psalm and Coyote Gulch. A long, long time ago, I took a little class at the BYU Extension Center in Salt Lake, and it was entitled, "What do you say when you talk to yourself?" The aim and goal of the teacher was to teach and train us to become aware of what we are saying when we are alone with ourselves and our thoughts and feelings and emotions. I did start to listen to myself and was absolutely appalled by what I did say to myself. It was often negative and pessimistic, and it was harmful and destructive to my attitude. I was leaning unto my own understanding. Proverbs 3:5. It became very apparent that I needed to change what I said to myself and become more positive and optimistic. So I decided to memorize the 23rd Psalm. Now, when I was alone with my thoughts, when no demands were made on my brain, especially when I was driving or running or hiking, I did not give myself a chance to fall into that same old trap, but remembered God's promise to me. Christ says to everyone, "Look unto me." What do I want to see when I look at him? I would like to see my Savior in his kindest, most loving, most caring role. I see that when I look at him as my shepherd. Handel uses some of Isaiah's words for one of the melodies in the Messiah. Isaiah 40:11. He shall feed his flock like a shepherd. Can you hear it in your mind? For me, there is not a more loving description of what the Savior wants to be and do for me. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the path of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Okay. I have said those words to myself uncounted times, especially when challenges were great or even overwhelming, when there was reason to be sad or disappointed, even when I was hurting for someone else. Many years ago, one of my sons, Stephen, went through a very, very hard time in his life, and that was extremely hard for me. I so much wanted to help him, do something for him. I felt so helpless because there really was nothing I could do except pray. And because the 23rd Psalm was such a source of comfort for me, I decided to pray it for him. The Lord is your shepherd. You shall not want. And especially, he restoreth your soul. He leadeth you in the path of righteousness. For many days I repeated those words over and over again. And again one Thursday morning. It was winter. It was before 5:30 a.m. It was cold. I drove an old VW Fastback, but the heater was very slow. I was on my way to the Book of Mormon study group, which started at 5:30, and had just crossed the intersection of 20th East and 27th South, going east. Where I was suddenly filled with an indescribable warmth, a loving, kind, and tender warmth, a comforting warmth, a healing warmth that filled the fiber of my being and swept away the pain that I had felt and the helplessness, and left me with that peace that passes understanding, and made me feel that my cup was running over. He had restored my soul. His rod and staff had comforted me. There was another time when my cup was running over. My son Stephen led a group of singles, skiing in the winter and hiking and backpacking in the summer. This time we were in southern Utah, backpacking in Coyote Gulch. It's a deep, magnificent canyon with arches, waterfalls, vaulted cliffs, hanging gardens of fern, a place where green seems more beautiful than anywhere else because it is complemented by the red sandstone walls that are so high only the sun at noon reaches the bottom of the canyon in some places. What a beautiful and different world. But then comes the end of this wonderful adventure and we have to leave Coyote Gulch. Our group had chosen to climb the Moki Steps out of the canyon. The Moki Steps is a steep, very rounded, slick rock formation like the wall of a dome. The name is totally misleading. There are no steps at all. It does not even show any visible places where you could put your feet to climb up. Those who had been there before pointed out some hardly visible or noticeable indentations that were formed over years and years by Indians wearing moccasins. It must have been a wonderfully safe place for the Indians who lived here. To me, it looked like a very daunting task to get out. During the night it rained, which would make the slick rock even more slick and the task even more daunting. As I lay awake in my sleeping bag, I started to pray my fears away. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the path of righteousness. I shall fear no evil. Thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. And little by little, I felt courage. And finally, all doubt and fear left me, and I felt certain that I would be able to climb up. My son had a rope for those who needed it, but I was sure I would not. The sun came up in the morning and dried the slick rock. When I stood at the foot of the Moki steps, I had to remind myself, did I not speak peace to your mind concerning the matter? What greater witness can you have than from God? D&C 6:23. And then I followed Melanie Jones, who had done this before, from one indentation to the next, all the way up to where we had more horizontal ground under our feet. That was a most glorious moment. What a great, great joy. With the Lord's help, I had done what seemed impossible yesterday and part of the night. When I look back, I'm so amazed at God's tender mercy to me in that situation. The world is filled with people with much, much greater serious needs, and here I am just on a backpacking trip for fun. I think I often do look back on those miraculous moments in my life when I lie awake at night because something is worrying me. They have the wonderful power to lift me out of doubt and fear and reassures me that He is near. Look unto me in every thought, doubt not, fear not. Stefan had asked me to meet him at ZCMI in the coffee shop. He needed to talk to me. I was not prepared for the avalanche of problems, troubles, and challenges that had descended upon him. Kelly had decided to go home to California to live with her mom. She had taken Elisha with her, so Stefan was now without his wife and little girl and was alone. In addition to this great, great loss, he had also lost his job. With Kelly gone, there was no income, so he also lost his home. It was indescribably overwhelming and sad, and constantly on my mind. I needed to find rescue for those burdensome thoughts and decided to pray the 23rd Psalm for him. This really belongs at the beginning. That's the end.